Coming to you from the desert of Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby!
Thomas Viola is here to talk to the best bookmakers and bettors in the business on a quest to cash tickets and build bankrolls.
Show me the money!
From picks to processes and more, it's time for the Degenerate Sports Betting Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome on into a betting show unlike any other. This is the Degenerate Sports Betting Show, brought to you by the FTN Network, where you can get all the sports betting and fantasy content your degenerate heart desires from some of the sharpest minds in the business. Use the promo code DGEN for 20% off your FTN subscription. That is DGEN for 20% off at FTN. Thank you so much for checking us out today. Subscribe to the show on the FTN channel on YouTube. And don't forget, of course, rate, review, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app. You guys know the drill. Now, of course, tonight, the NCAA tournament comes to a close as Kansas takes on UNC. Our very own Walter Waddle joined Chris Meany on Mean Streets to break down the game for you. You can check that out right now because we are going on to the Masters. And here to help us break it all down, the Las Vegas golfer himself, Brady Kannon. Brady, how are you doing today, my friend? Thank you so much for joining us.
Is here, Tom. Thank you so much. Yeah, doing great, man. Fired up.
It's going to be a fun one. You know, I have to start out the question on everybody's minds. He just touched down in Augusta. Is Tiger going to play? You can get no 10-1 at Circa right now. Is he playing?
It seems like he is. You know, I said last week that it felt like a 20% chance that he would play. And I think now it seems like maybe a 60% chance. It's quite remarkable. Obviously, we know the severity of his injuries. And for him to be back here, you know, trying to play in the Masters about a year and a half later is pretty amazing. I'm certainly not going to be betting on him to win, but I would not bet against him as far as playing at this point. He seems pretty determined that he's going to give it a go. Can he make it all 4 rounds? Can he make the cut? You know, that remains to be seen, but it seems like he's going to try and give it a shot.
I mean, just him being out there, stepping onto the course, that is a fantastic comeback story for a guy who's already had a couple of those. Of course, we know the little bit of magic that we had at the Masters with him. He's no stranger to that. If you were interested, Circa has some props up on Tiger, of course, and we know that he's always going to be a bad bet to take straight up. You're never going to get a true number on a guy like this because the public just loves him more than maybe any other athlete in all of sports. But to make the cut, no at minus 145 at Circa, I know you don't want to bet against him to play, but how can I interest you in to make the cut prop?
Yeah, I would probably bet that he does not make the cut. And minus 145, yeah, maybe that seems pretty affordable. You know, maybe he's really minus 200 to make the cut. You know, the guy surprised me before. I didn't expect him to win in 2019 either. But, you know, I look back at that and we say, geez, he knows the course better than anybody else. Maybe that wasn't as surprising as we were kind of prognosticating prior to. But this is a different situation, I believe, in this case. And, yeah, you know, if he does indeed tee it up, which it seems like he's going to give it a shot, I'd kind of be surprised if he made the cut. I guess, Tom, we don't know how healthy he is, you know, and that's the question. Only he knows that. And, you know, if he's healthy, sure, he can make the cut. But my guess is that his health will not allow him to perform at a high level where, you know, only the top 50 guys are going to play the weekend.
Yeah, this is the Masters. Even Tiger right now, we want to see the magic. You know that everybody loves him. I agree. If I was going to put a bet down on him, I'd put it on the no. I don't see him making the cut, but the real story for him is just being here and playing in this tournament right now for sure.
Yeah, no, it's great for golf, and it's great that you and I are sitting here talking about it, you know, so that's all very positive. And even if he does only show up for 2 days and does miss the cut, it's still good. People, you know, like you mentioned, he's maybe the most adored athlete by the casual betting public there ever was, possibly. You could put his odds at 20-1 to win the Masters and people would still bet him.
Yep.
But no, it's yeah, I mean, this is all good. Hopefully he is in good health and hopefully he has a successful week. But I am, of the mind that I don't think he's going to be there at the top of the leaderboard on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I mean, Circa, again, they have a whole bevy of Tiger props up. They've got his finishing position at 57.5. You can take it -110 either way. I don't see him making it into that top 50. Hopefully he does. It would be a fantastic story, but he's just going to go out there. We get to watch him play again. We are very lucky for that. But let's talk about some of the guys that we do think have a more realistic chance here to be donning the green jacket at the end of the weekend. What are some of the characteristics that you like to look for in guys to win at Augusta? How does it play so much differently than any of these other events that we're looking at? And how does that affect your strategy going in?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think one of the reasons it plays differently is just because of the pressure and the stage that you're on, that is Augusta National, that is the Masters. And, there's something to be said about that. As far as the course, we've heard for many, many years, what you see on TV is really not what the property truly is. You're not able to tell how much elevation change there is. And it's a very hilly course. And that's another thing about Tiger. It's not an easy course to walk. So, that kind of goes against the Tiger conversation, how difficult this course is with the hills and the mounds and the elevation change. I think it's similar to, as far as like correlated golf courses, I think it's kind of similar to the Plantation course where they play the Tournament of Champions in January that Cameron Smith won earlier this year. Big, wide fairways. The rough is not very penal. You do have that elevation change. And that's what Augusta National has as well. It's really, since they quote unquote Tiger proofed the course, I think that was in 2008. It used to really cater, prior to that, it used to really cater to just the guys that could really bomb the golf ball. But now, while driving distance, I believe, certainly still helps a lot at Augusta National, you typically don't see a lot of short hitters win here. So driving distance still helps, but more so, it's become a ball striking contest and a second shot golf course. And so strokes gained approach is something you want to look at, driving distance. And then we know you've got to have an incredible touch around the greens at this place. So scrambling is certainly a big deal. Putting is a huge deal. And I think the biggest probably derivative of putting is avoiding three putts. So I think that's another stat you want to look at who is good at avoiding three putts, because that'll certainly come into play on these very slick bent grass greens.
Now, talking about that, especially avoiding the three putts, being able to just have that short game to really get you where you need to go. Who are some of the guys that you're looking at closer to the top of the leaderboard?
Well, I'll tell you, I did play Cameron Smith. I mentioned him winning at Kapalua earlier this year, and I like Cameron Smith's prior history at Augusta as well. He's had top 10 finishes in his last 4 tries, and I played him when he was just 36 holes into that tournament at Kapalua, because again, I mentioned the course correlation, his course form at Augusta, and I saw him going on to win that tournament. And I said, I better jump on him now, because if I don't, his odds are going to be cut if he wins this thing. So I was able to get him at 40-1, and he's now down to, lower than 16-1, I believe. I don't know if I want to bet price. I'd love to see if I could get 20 if you're still involved in the Cameron Smith, interest. Obviously, I love having 40, but it's hard to bet on anybody at much lower than 20-1. I did take Dustin Johnson at 18-1, And I like that bet. I like what DJ has shown lately. 63 in the final round of the Players Championship, and also just made the semifinals at the match play in Austin, Texas. So I feel like DJ's game is coming back around. We know how much this tournament means to him. And I also think there's motivation from DJ. I don't think he liked it a whole lot when he dropped out of the top 10 in the world rankings. Now he's back in after his good showing at the match play at number 8 in the world. But I think DJ really likes being number 1. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see him really show up here at the national, as well as Brooks Koepka. They had a great, I believe it was quote unquote, the Elite 8 of the match play, where DJ and Koepka had a great match against one another. And Koepka missed the cut last year. He could barely walk. If you recall, he had a surgically repaired knee, and he gave it a go, kind of like Tiger. But Koepka was just not healthy enough to even hardly walk. He could barely get in and out of sandbunk, and he missed the cut. But prior to that, he's finished like 2nd, 11th, and 7th or something. And I would expect another high finish. Brooks Koepka. Shane, I bet at 100-1, and he's still in the neighborhood of 50-1, which I think is still a pretty decent number. 100-1 was obviously great for a guy that is playing really well to begin this season. And let's not forget, this guy just won a major championship a couple of years ago too. Maybe it was 3 years ago now, the British Open at Royal Portrush. So he is a absolutely world-class player who's in good form. He has typically not fared incredibly well at the Masters, but his last 2 trips have been top 25 finishes. So, and Tom, for many years, they said you needed to play in the Masters about 6 times before you were likely to win, because you needed to figure this course out. And Shane Lowry, I believe, will be playing in his 7th Masters this year. So maybe this guy is starting to figure it out. And then finally, Mark Leishman, who has shown that he has figured this place out in the past. He's had a number of top 5 and top 10 finishes, has Mark Leishman. So I thought 125-1 on Leishman was a pretty juicy price. Maybe he should be more like 80 or 100. But I wouldn't be surprised. Leishman has not been in outstanding form, but he did have a very good week at the Genesis Invitational, the LA Open at Riviera. And I think is another course that has a tremendously strong correlation to success at Augusta.
Yeah, looking at some of these updated odds here, Cameron Smith, like you said, is around 16-1 right now. Dustin Johnson is still in that 18-19 range. Koepka, same exact range. He's like plus 1975 at Circa right now. Lowry's at 46, and Leachman is down to 93-1 at Circa right now. But still, looking good. There are a lot of great golfers out here, and I'm loving some of these plays. I'm really excited about Brooks Koepka. I feel like he has just been one of those guys that is always in it. I agree with you being high on him.
He's been in really good form lately. He played well at the Phoenix Open earlier this year, where, a tournament that he's won in the past. He and DJ both just kind of seem to be knocking on the door right now. And obviously they have tremendous past history here at this tournament. And I would expect them to show up again. And, we always say Brooks Koepka only cares about the majors, right? No, I don't really believe that wholeheartedly, but certainly he does seem to gear up his game for the biggest stages. And this would certainly be one of those spots. And we've seen him do it in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again.
Now, once we get through the first couple rounds here, once we get to the cut, do you like to go back in and maybe reevaluate some of these prices and maybe pick up some other golfers? Or do you mostly just, these are my plays and this is how I'm going to stick through it?
Little of both, but I definitely do take a look really after Thursday, but after Friday, heading into the weekend, I will take a look. And, for people that are considering game wagering, it's pretty interesting. 76% of all Masters winners finish the first round inside in or inside the top 10 after one. So you really have to be off to a good start if you're figuring on winning the Masters. It's not really a catch-up tournament. It's guys that get out to a good start on Thursday. Again, 76% of all Masters winners have begun the first round in the top 10. I believe it was six of the last 8 winners have finished the first day in the top 10, I believe it is. And then let's see, the last 16 Masters winners have all started after the first day inside the top 11. So again, it just goes to show that you have to get off to a hot start here. So yes, after Friday's round, after the cut, is when I take another glance, and hopefully all my guys are in there, and then I probably won't mess around at all. But we'll see.
So there you have it, though, guys. If you want to in-game this, wait and see how things are going to go after the first couple rounds. You want to be looking at some of those top 10 guys. Brady, thank you so much for joining me here today. Where can people find you in the awesome work you're doing?
Well, of course, at VSIN, the Stats and Information Network, and you can follow me on Twitter at Las Vegas Golfer. And, I also have another job where I book tee times for people that are coming to Las Vegas. So, if you're looking to golf here in Sin City, you can catch up with me that way as well.
I actually will need to hit you up for that because I have a couple friends coming into town that are looking to hit the links. So, Brady, once again, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate the time. Best of luck on the Masters.
Hey, thank you for having me, and you enjoy the Masters as well, Tom. Thank you.
You as well. Have a good one. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us here on the show today. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. Use that promo code DGEN for 20% off your FTN subscription. That is DGEN for 20% off at FTN. Thank you so much to Brady for joining us today. You can find him on Twitter, once again, at Las Vegas Golfer, and myself, of course, TV at Work. Guys, thank you so much, and we will see you next episode.